Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Chevron Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And, you know, we love to bring you updates, especially on projects that mean so much to our area and those people who know a lot about it. We welcome to the program Mr. Henri Boulet, the Executive Director of the LA1 Coalition. Welcome back.
Well, thank you, Keith. It's a joy to be back here and update the community on one of those important projects.
I know that's right. Listen, y'all have done a lot of work on this. We're excited to see, and I love when you can really come and tell us about it and show us about it. So it's both of those.
That's right. And I got some fresh photos taken over this weekend. So
my goodness.
Very, very current.
Wow.
To show residents of the area the progress being made on the elevated highway in Golden Meadow, which will take it down to Leeville.
Oh, it's so very exciting. I got to tell you, Archie Shessel and I have been talking about it for years.
Yes.
About this project, and it's so very nice to see it progressing.
Well, listen, it's been a 25-year effort, by the community. And, we had tremendous challenges, and you had people in D.C. who said, y'all will never get an elevated highway down in Lower Lafourche Parish. But once we educated the policymakers on the importance of not only Fouchon, but our entire region here in Houma and Thibodaux to America's energy security.
Right.
They knew that, the Gulf of Mexico is vital to America.
Absolutely.
And with everything happening in the world today, the federal government wanted to make it a priority to be able to access the oil reserves in the Gulf of Mexico. So, LA1 obviously ties into Fouchon.
Right.
Fouchon, at the end of the day, services over 90% of that activity in the U.S. Gulf.
Right.
So, they saw why this road was important. They saw the times it was underwater with flooding. And that's why, close to the year 2000, we got the final allotment of money that is allowing us to build this last section in a $143 million federal grant to finish the system.
So very nice.
Yes.
So very nice. All right, walk us through some of those updates if you don't mind.
Absolutely, yeah. So our first slide here, Keith, shows the existing 4-lane highway in Golden Meadow on the left.
Right.
And the cars you see on that highway are southbound, heading down toward Leeville. They're going to go toward the left on Old LA1.
Right.
What you're seeing on the right is where the new elevated highway will connect to that 4-lane highway in Golden Meadow. You actually see the ramp there. Now, if you look at it, you see a canal right to the right of the ramp. That is the Bayou Canal, where they took dirt to build the levee on the right in the photo, the South Lafourche levee system.
Right.
So this elevated highway will actually pass in the Bayou Canal for the first 1/3 of a mile that you can kind of see there.
Right.
And then it will cross over the levee and it will head south for 8 miles in what is open water pretty much now on the other side of the levee.
Right.
And it will connect down in Leeville at that 90-degree turn that everyone knows you take a sharp left at. So you will go through that intersection just straight through. You won't be getting on there. Now, if people do want to take the old road, they'll still be allowed to do that.
Okay.
A lot of people fish out of Leeville here.
Yes, yes.
And they will be able just to take Old LA1, go down to the public boat launch that Lafourche Parish government has down in Leeville, use it for free.
Right.
And we want people to be able to use that old road, get down to Leeville, enjoy the natural resources that our community has.
Yeah, we know so many different people, charter fishermen, charter out of there as well.
That's correct. That's correct. So it's a huge, beautiful public boat launch. So I want to encourage people viewing the show, go and use the free assets that our government has for us. And Leeville, has some of the best fishing in the world. So
absolutely does.
Please go ahead and use that. But the second slide that I'd like to update the community with on the project shows the opposite direction of where the trestle, you see these steel structures that are aligned, that the cranes travel on trestles, on those trestles, and they go up and back, and they trestle all the way back and pick up supplies, and then the crane works its way back to what would be at the bottom of this slide. It passes piling to the other crane, and they build ahead of schedule and put down the piling that the elevated highway will actually sit on.
Wow.
Now, what's interesting in this slide, Keith, is you're seeing exactly where the highway will cross over the levee.
Right.
You're seeing two cement pads there, the white things.
Right.
In between those is a T-wall in the levee, a cement wall that goes down 96 feet, the piling, and it comes up, and it will have a wall coming up out of the levee that will pass right under the highway. That wall will go up to 21 feet high, and the highway will cross over the levee, over that wall at 22 feet. There'll be a foot of clearance.
Wow. Right.
This is being done, Keith, so that if the levee district ever gets an appropriation to raise the levee to 21 feet, they won't have to worry about the section under the highway. It'll all be done.
So very well thought out. What great information, great pictures, and sharing. We're going to take a short break.
Yes.
And we'll come right back and talk a whole lot more about this project.
Yes, sir.
Sounds great.
Good.
All right, guys. Henri's going to stay with us. You do the same. We'll be right back here on Bayou Time right after this commercial.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health Systems, modern technology and timeless caring. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate that. As well as having with us Mr. Henri Boulet. Thank you and welcome back.
Well, thank you, Keith. It's a joy to be here.
Appreciate that. Of course, Executive Director of the LA1 Coalition. And as we're talking about that, people they always want to know, tell me about the money. How's this going to affect me? Let's talk a little bit about the toll collection.
Absolutely. So, Keith, the state is going to make some changes this fall in the toll collection system. And the state is going to hire a company that will also be doing the Belle Chase Bridge tolls.
Oh, okay.
To take over the LA1 tolls and have both systems operating under the same purview.
Okay.
DOTD only has 2 tolled bridges in the state.
Right.
The Causeway is not a DOTD bridge, really.
Right.
It's run by the Causeway Commission. Right. So Plenary Infrastructure out of Belle Chase will operate the LA1 tolls starting this fall. They're coming in, they're putting in brand new tolling equipment that will leverage our efficiencies with the Belle Chase system.
Okay.
They're going to continue to operate the Golden Meta Customer Service Center.
Oh, very nice.
And for anyone in the community that has an existing GoPass on their windshield, that GoPass will still operate fine.
Okay.
Your GoPass account will stay the same. It'll just be a different company that is operating it for the state.
Okay.
There's a few improvements that will come with that operation. We'll go to the this slide. So overall, we'll have a brand new tolling system to replace the aging LA1 toll system.
Right.
We'll have a single back office that'll be used for both facilities.
Okay.
And it'll be all electronic from this point on at both facilities. And what that means is that you'll be able to drive through at a relatively high speed, not stopping. There'll be no manual tolls taken. It's all electronic.
Right.
It gives us improved safety through the toll plaza.
Right.
And for people who may not have a GoPass, don't worry. your license will be captured by the camera system, and the toll operator will mail you a bill for the $4.50 toll.
Okay.
I believe if you pay it within 30 days, you're fine.
There's no additional fee.
There's no additional fee. If it's after 30 days, there is, I believe, a $25 additional fee.
Oh, my.
But I've been talking to people who haven't had Go Passes, and they've been getting, their $4.50 bill, and they just go online, pay it through their credit card, and that's fine. Or if they're driving through Golden Meadow, they can pay it cash. But, so many people have credit cards and do things online. This will allow the public to do that well.
Okay.
So on the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about the other things that are going to be improved. So it'll be a very modern toll system.
Okay.
It'll have a simplified toll rate system.
Okay.
So currently, the old system has 8 different classifications.
Right.
It's going to be simplified into 3 vehicle classes.
Okay.
The same classes will be used on the Belle Chase Bridge and the LA1 Bridge. And this is what the costs will be.
Okay.
So there'll be 3 different tolling categories on the right.
Okay.
The basic toll will be $4.50 still. Class 2 will be $10.50, and the large trucks, very large trucks, will be $21. Okay. Now, if you are billed by your plate because you don't have a Go Pass, it costs to bill people.
Sure, it's more expensive.
Yes, and you have back office. So those expenses will be relative to the $4.50, $10.50, and $21. Those will be, if they pay by plate, $5.40, $11.40, and $21.90.
Okay.
And that will become effective in mid-September.
Okay.
The updates will be completed, as I said, in September.
Right.
The state has struggled to get the system going since Hurricane Ida.
Right.
And this will be a major improvement. The tolling operation activities. So the system will do a lot electronically.
Okay.
Where they've started to put the system in, starting this past May. They've had closures of one of the 2 lanes down there to install this equipment. The tentative date that the new system should be going into effect is September 13th.
Okay.
If all the equipment comes in on time.
Okay.
This is a slide on the non-revenue and accounts.
Right.
There are some laws by our legislature which allowed the Coast Guard, Homeland Security, police departments, fire departments, and post offices, and World War II veterans and Grand Isle residents to go through without a toll. That'll remain.
Okay, good.
And finally, the commuter discount will remain for anyone who works down at Fouchon. That rate will continue to be $270 per trip.
Okay.
Far lower than the $450.
Right.
To qualify, workers need to go down 20 times in a 60-day period.
So every third day, basically.
Yes, and the system will recognize that, and then it will put you at that rate.
Sounds great. All right, thank you for all the updates. We appreciate all the hard work that you guys are doing with the coalition. So thank you for that, and thanks for joining us.
Keith, thank you. We'll keep you updated.
All right.
Yep.
And that will do it for this particular segment of Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. A lot more local programming right here on HTV.